Your House of Commons is about to resume for just a month before summer break. Hey, it's Dan, and welcome back to Unfiltered. You know, we're chasing 2,500 subscribers by the end of May, and if you haven't yet, please join us here at Unfiltered. Subscribe if you could. So we've got a new Prime Minister in Mark Carney. The King's in town delivering the speech from the throne, and a fresh round of promises from both major parties. Looks like Carney's running the country like a corporate boardroom. Pierre Poilievre, he still has passion and conviction, but the party's tied down with another minority government. So where does that leave us? Today we're going to hear from both sides, but the opinion that matters the most, well, it's your opinion, because the election is over. The die's been cast for the interim anyways. And ask yourself this: are you better off today than a month ago? Are you optimistic or still struggling? Has anything actually changed? We're going to walk through what Ottawa's promising today, but in the end, this episode is about your voice, your pain points, and your truth, because I'm hearing from Canadians across the country, and, well, what they're saying sounds nothing like what we're hearing from Parliament. The 45th Parliament opens with a royal ceremony, but underneath all that pageantry, it's business as usual. Committees are on pause, no budget, and a throne speech meant to unify a country that frankly feels more fractured than ever. Mark Carney drops his first mandate letter, and it's not progressive, it's not reformative, it's really managerial. Interprovincial trade, economic urgency. This isn't vision, it's corporate restructuring, dressed up as a national leadership letter. Carney's background as a banker is clear in every line. He talks about productivity and performance metrics. He wants to use AI to streamline government, not serve people, but to reduce costs. He's not building a movement, he's running a boardroom. And if you don't fit that business model, well, frankly, you're not in the plan. There's no voice for Western alienation, no word about how to rebuild trust between the regions, no serious pitch to the millions of Canadians feeling more disconnected than ever.
Our government has been elected to do nothing less than define a new economic and security relationship with the United States and build, and there's a lot of ands in what I'm about to say, and build the strongest economy that works for everyone. Canadians also want their life to become more affordable. They want their communities safer. We will deliver these mandates with urgency and determination. We are going to get going from minute one.
And we will deliver with urgency and determination. Even CBC panelist Athea Raj called it what it is, a center-right plan the Conservatives wish they had put forward themselves.
Well, 2 points. One, I think this actually sets up ministers fighting with each other because there's overlapping jurisdiction on a whole bunch of stuff. So, but setting that aside, to Andrew's point, yes, this reads exactly like, frankly, the Conservative government that many in Poilievre's own caucus wish they probably could have voted for, because this is a very centrist, and I would even say center-right focused mandate letter, which is interesting because Mark Carney is the Prime Minister of Canada because a whole bunch of progressives voted for him, and their issues in the way that we have typically understood them to be verbalized by the Liberal government were not part of his speech and are not part of this mandate letter.
Seems like a technocrat's vision for Canada, not a nation builder, and it kind of shows. Then there's Pierre Poilievre, coming in hot with a 5-point plan, clear, focused, and familiar.
And priorities take plans. Our plan, first, we've got to get the cost of living down. And we're going to be demanding a spring budget that reveals the true deficit, lowers spending, taxes, and inflation. Second, to get homes built by cutting taxes and red tape on construction. Third, to restore economic independence by unleashing our businesses and our resources. Fourth, to bring safety to our streets by locking up dangerous offenders and securing our borders. And fifth, speaking of our borders, we need to get immigration under control after a decade of Liberal incompetence.
Priorities take plans, and the Conservatives plan to start by demanding a spring budget that reveals the true deficit, cuts taxes on builders, unleashing Canada's resources. That's a plan. Poilievre is still fighting, but the question is, can he even move the needle in a minority parliament? Or is this just more political theater? And here's where we need to stop for just a minute and get real, because what's even more frustrating for me than political theater is a government that isn't even planning to table a federal budget this spring. Sure, we're told there'll be an economic update sometime in the fall, but after the disaster of last December's update, that's like telling a drowning man to wait for a life raft. Just hang in there. According to CPA Canada, and this was just published on May the 20th, the federal government is beginning this sitting with no clear fiscal framework, no spending plan, no benchmarks, no targets. The federal government's asking Canadians to believe they're tackling inflation, housing, national debt without showing the true numbers. And here's what CPA Canada said word for word in that article. The absence of a formal federal budget leaves Canadians without a clear understanding of the government's fiscal plans, its priorities, and how it intends to pay for them. So let me ask you, in what serious country does a government start the year without a budget? In what version of responsible leadership do you lay out your goals with no plan to fund them? This isn't transparency, it's avoidance. And Canadians are left stuck in the dark yet again. This week I asked a question on the Unfiltered TikTok channel, at what point does a nation stop feeling like a nation? And the answers flooded in, not from pundits and politicians, from people like you. For instance, from Saskatchewan, not connected at all. The feds do whatever they want. From BC, the West needs to separate. Let Vancouver and Victoria stay in Canada. From Alberta, 3 elections, and we've never picked the PM. We're done. From the East, we're too different to ever really be united. That's a statement. And then there's Wayne, an Albertan I met at the Alberta Independence Rally. This is how Wayne answered that question.
Well, because I was born in Saskatchewan and spent all my life in Alberta, and I don't consider myself a Canadian. We in the West, in my opinion, have never been treated as Canadians by the East. And so I am just tired of all of the stuff that we don't have any say about. I'm tired of sending money to the East that we have no control over, and the high taxes. We would be a lot better off. I have more in common with Montana or North Dakota than I do with Eastern Canada. Not that I want to be a 51st state. Okay, let's get that straight.
This isn't political theater anymore. It's emotional exhaustion. Canadians aren't debating the party lines. They're questioning, it seems, the very foundation of the country. If you're connecting with this episode, please connect with us for more. Subscribe to the channel and please share the video. It helps us spread this message unfiltered. So just when you think the Liberals under Carney's leadership might want more accountability, the Liberals go behind closed doors and vote against adopting the Reform Act. What's that? That's the same rule that allows MPs to hold their own leader accountable. The same rule that the Conservative used to remove Aaron O'Toole. The Liberals, they voted it down again. That means if Mark Carney goes off track, like Trudeau did before him, nobody in his own caucus can stop him. No checks, no balances, no internal accountability. This is a party that just swapped figureheads and kept the same system intact. The exact same structure that insulted Trudeau for years is now protecting Carney. And the worst part? They don't even try to explain it. They hide behind closed doors, invoke caucus secrecy, and pretend like none of it actually matters. So ask yourself, what kind of government starts its first sitting by eliminating the tools to hold itself accountable? This isn't leadership. It's lockdown politics. The system protects itself before it protects the people. So with all this in mind, with Carney in charge, Poilievre boxed in, and Parliament clocking in for a 4-week session, I want to bring the conversation back to you. Because while the politicians made speeches, Canadians showed up in the comments in Unfiltered. And here's what you told me, unfiltered and uncensored. From Ontario, don't give this province a penny until Doug Ford is gone. We see none of it, just the puppeteers. From Saskatchewan, free classes on critical thinking. Misinformation should be illegal and punishable by law. That's a statement and a half. From Edmonton, Alberta, carbon tax, immigration, homelessness, seniors and veterans need more to survive, high rents and rising food prices. And from Northern Ontario, government cuts, stop funding war, cut waste. We need transparency and unredacted documents. And finally, from Ontario, again, defund the CBC, tap into Alberta LNG, stop the foreign workers, start working for us, not for the image. This is what Canadians are actually saying. Not political talking points, not campaign lines, just raw, honest truth from people across the country who are tired of being ignored. So now it's your turn again. Drop your province in the comments below. Tell me your number one priority and answer me this. Is Canada still one nation or just pretending to be? Because if this country is going to heal, it won't be from a throne speech. It's going to be from people finally being heard. Thanks for watching and thanks for subscribing to Unfiltered.